Welcome to our Web3 security series. Today we are talking about one of the most infamous hacks in blockchain history, the DAO hack. This attack exploited a vulnerability called Reentrancy, resulting in a loss of 60 million worth of Ether. Stick around, I'll explain Reentrancy, how the hack worked, and we'll code a proof of concept using Foundry. So what is Reentrancy? Reentrancy occurs when a smart contract calls an external contract and the external contract calls back into the original contract before the first function execution is complete. This can lead to state manipulation. You can see here we have two contracts. One is the vulnerable contract and the attacker contract. So the funds are stored in vulnerable contract and there is a withdraw function that the attacker is going to call. So the attacker contract has a hack function that calls the withdraw function to withdraw the funds. So basically what is happening is when the withdraw function is called and the funds are transferred to the attacker, then the balance is updated. But as you can see, there is no receive function in the attacker contract. So there is a thing called fallback function that is being called. So what happens is as soon as the fallback function is called, the attacker has written that the fallback function will also call the withdraw function. So this acts like a loop and all the funds of the vulnerable contract are transferred to the attacker. And how the DAO attack happened in 2016, the attacker deposited funds into the DAO. They created a malicious contract that called the DAO's withdraw function. Before the balance was updated, the malicious contract called the withdraw function again, repeating the process in a loop and draining the funds. Okay, but is the reentrancy attack really a significant problem? Yeah, it is, because you can see that there are multiple hacks that are still happening. Uniswap had a $25 million attack in 2020, then Burger Swap sent $7.2 million, Surge BNB $4 million, Cream Finance $18.8 million, and Siren Protocol $3.5 million in September 2021. There is one more attack that I found about was the Omni Protocol. So Omni Protocol is a NFT money market platform, and there was an attack of $1.4 million on 9th of July 2022. That is really recent. So what the attacker did was there is a Doodles NFTX vault to deposit the Doodles NFT as collateral. So by leveraging the re-entrancy vulnerability, they exploited the contract and got all the funds out of it. Let's code the POC now. Here, as you can see, that I have written a contract called EtherStore. It is a very simple contract. Users can deposit the fund and withdraw the fund, and there is a getter function to get the balance of it. I have written a attack contract. So here you can see that there are a lot of warnings that I'm getting. So if I hover over it, I see this contract is a payable fallback function, but no receive ether function. It says like I have not written a receive function, and we are doing it purposefully to simulate the reentrancy attack. So here you can see that I have an attack function that actually calls the withdraw function of the ether store, and I have a fallback function that also calls the withdraw function. So that makes a loop, and it is going to get all the funds from the ether store. Now let's look at the test. So I will add all this code in a GitHub repository, and I'll add the link of the repository in the description if you want to check the code out and run the test yourself. So here in the test you can see in the setup, what we are doing is first we are making three addresses, Alice, Bob and Eve, and we are going to give one ether each to Alice, Bob and Eve, and Alice and Bob are going to deposit one ether each in the contract, ether store contract. And then what we are doing is Eve performs the attack. Eve calls the attack function, and what is going to happen is Eve is going to steal all the funds from the ether store. You can see, like if I go and write forge test, in the initial state ether store balance was 2 ethers because Alice and Bob deposited 1 ether each, and attacker balance was 0. and Eve balance was 1 Ethereum. Now, as Eve is the attacker, you can see that Eve balance becomes 3 Ethereum at the end of the test. Now, how do we prevent reentrancy? So there are two things that we can do to prevent. Follow the checks, effect, intersection pattern, update balances and state variables before interacting with the external contracts. And second thing that we can use is a reentrancy guard. So libraries like OpenZeppelin provide utilities to prevent reentrant calls. Now, if you want to save our funds in the EtherStore contract, simply what we will do is we will just add a modifier that says non-reentrant. What it is going to do is it is going to lock the execution till one function completes its execution, and we are just going to write non-reentrant here. And now if we run the test, you can see that the Eve's balance is 1 Ether only and the test failed. That means our funds are safe. And that's how the infamous DAO hack happened, exploiting a reentrancy vulnerability. We saw how it worked, coded a proof of concept and discussed prevention techniques. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more Web3 security insights. Thank you.